when I look at my dreams and visions on a daily basis, I have to pay attention to them on a daily basis and treat it as if they're that girl of my dreams, because truly they are. They are those things that give purpose to my life, like that definition of what it is that brought me to this world to be here today, those visions. And I feel that every person that has a vision, you know, I believe God put that in you for a purpose to see if you're going to actually execute towards that dream.
On my $1,000,000 hustle. It's
The $1,000,000 Hustle Podcast, where we keep it real, I stated entrepreneurship wisdom. Learn to think like a millionaire and hustle like you're broke. Here's your host, Billy the Kid, aka Billionaire.
like a millionaire and hustle like you broke. This free game to change your life, you better so. Think like a millionaire and hustle like you broke.
Welcome to the $1,000,000 Hustle Podcast, baby. It is your boy Billy the Kid, aka BDK, aka Billionaire in this mug. Woo. So I actually, it's funny. There's so much stuff I want to get off my chest real quick. So the first thing is, as you see, I am officially in my new studio, guys. Super exciting. Like, it's been a blessing. This is the first official podcast episode in my new studio. Maybe I'll give you guys a tour of my YouTube later. Go subscribe if you haven't. But it's a blessing, man. And even this right here, the $1,000,000 Hustle logo, I might change, or actually I shouldn't say I might, I will change, and I guess I said I might because I'm going to see if I do place it here or somewhere else, but I ordered an LED one, so I'm excited for that. Most likely I'll put it back here, but that was kind of the final touch, and here we are, baby. Here we are, broadcasting live from my new studio, man. It's a blessing, and that was the first thing I wanted to let you guys know, that this is the official new podcast, the new podcast studio, I should say. So that's that. And then today, guys, is Gigi's birthday, my newborn, not so newborn anymore. It's been over a year, and just grateful, man. I've had small tears of gratitude, and it's just been a blessing. Just a healthy baby. She's brought a lot of happiness on top of everything we already have going on. She just brings more joy to our family, man. Family of 5 now. So today's her birthday. We're going to celebrate it this weekend. We're going to have a birthday party and just celebrate it, man. Celebrate life. It's a blessing. So, but yeah, that's pretty much. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before we get into today's episode. I guess one thing I wanted to share with you guys, it's funny because so we just got done building our house a few months ago, the studio, and so it's funny, I'm so new to podcasting again, we'll say, but that was a joke because thank God we got the experience. I got the experience now, but it's funny because after I got done doing this interview, I actually got up and left my studio, and then I was like, oh, wait, I need to do the intro. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. But today, guys, Derrick Green. Shout out to Derrick Green, man. Such a dope soul, honestly. Like, I've been waiting to get this interview done. We've talked for a few months now about doing it, probably over a year, honestly, or a year, but at least months. And I told him, like, no, dude, I got you. He probably thought I was, like, BSing or something, but obviously we were building the studio and all this stuff, but I am glad that today was the day we got it done, man. Derrick Green, his story is so motivational. Today, we talked about vision, having the vision for what you want to do, and whether it's financially, with your goals, your business, everything that you guys want to do, man, have that vision, because that is where it starts. It doesn't start anywhere else but just with the simple vision of what you want to do and work towards it. And that is what we're going to talk about today, man. Make sure you guys grab a copy of my book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable. You see, I'm new to this studio, so The Power of Being Uncomfortable, it is out now, audiobook. hit me up if you're interested. One other thing I wanted to mention, man. It's crazy. Within the last few weeks, we just had. So it's funny. We had somebody hit $1 million for the first time in their business, and as we're in the meeting, somebody else just shared that they just hit over 1 million in their business as well. So it is so amazing. And here's the thing, guys, like that's the money aspect, but everything else that they have gotten out of being surrounded by great people, like the people, shout out to all the uncomfortables, like the people that we have in the Get Uncomfortable Mastermind is a blessing, life-changing, guys. Besides the money, I can sit here all day and tell you all the stuff that they've done with their personal life, with their marriage, the people around them. It's just an overall circle of positivity and goodness that happens. So if you're interested, man, being around people like that is gonna literally just blow you out of this world. Honestly, you're gonna blow the hell up, like for real, in a good way. So if you're interested, info at BillyTheKid.com for the Get Uncomfortable Mastermind. But enough of that, man. Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, sorry, man. Like it's been so long. Like I just want to keep talking to you guys. One other thing too, we've hit a lot of milestones the last few months with my lending company, New Era Lending. So if you have a project out there that you need help with, hit me up, man. I would love to partner up with you as your investor, as your lender, whatever you want to call me, as your partner, so we can get that deal done and make some money together. Yeah, we just hit over $1 million of lending, so it's awesome. Just kind of knowing how to move around and do things a certain way. So that's just that company there. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and that is all I got. So here is Derrick Green, baby. Let's get it. Vamonos. Welcome to the $1 Million Hustle Podcast, baby. It is your boy, Billy the Kid, a.k.a. BDK, a.k.a. Billionaire. I am excited today. I am feeling like a billionaire today, man, because my guest today, guys, is such a genuine dude who has done so, like, I can't wait because we're going to go from, like, social media to, you know, his crazy, sad story from the beginning and how he was able to turn it around and all the amazing things that he's doing. Derrick Green, how you doing, brother?
Brother, I'm absolutely blessed and doing well. Thank you for that introduction.
Man, I fell in love with your story, bro, and not just your mix. We'll say that for now because you had me try it, and man, fire. But let's go ahead and take it back, Derrick. Why are you here, right? Like, where do you come from? How was it growing up?
Well, actually, right now, brother, I'm in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is where I was born and raised. Came down here for Thanksgiving and stayed to, reconnect with family and just enjoy this life that I'm living, this blessed life that I'm living. Um, but this place is near and dear to my heart. Watching it change and evolve is a beautiful thing because now when you come down to Fort Pierce, Florida, I mean, there's tourists everywhere. There's shops set up for the tourist industry. Um, there are white people walking around. And when I grew up, you didn't see any of that, man. It was just ghetto and gang violence. Um, so by the time, just to give you some topics, by the time I was 17 and left this place to join the army, I had already known what it was to be raped and molested, be physically neglected, abused, left fatherless. I'd already seen gang violence, murders, suicides, you name it, man. There was a lot of trauma that existed in this town when I grew up here. So it's actually kind of cool to see that it's being gentrified. I know gentrification is not a great thing, but seeing the mentality shift and the people shift is a beautiful thing.
Man, and the first question that came to my head, Derrick, obviously all the amazing things that you're doing now is nothing compared to where you come from, but how did you deal with that trauma? Because that, I mean, all the, like, it felt like it was never ending, right? Like rape, neglected, blah, 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 like all these different things that happen. How have you dealt with that? So that way, maybe somebody who's going through it or hasn't dealt with their own traumas can get some help.
Well, as a kid, brother, first of all, I was ostracized. I was always pushed to the side. I'm the lightest thing in my family, and so I was always picked on for being too light, which is kind of crazy. And because I like to enunciate my words, because I like to actually speak articulately, I didn't blend in. I wasn't black enough. So it's this weird place in life to grow up feeling that you weren't black enough, even though you're in a completely black community. How I dealt with it is I always realized that I was, or always felt like I was better, like I had more to offer than what Fort Pierce had to give me.
Mm.
As if this environment was not where I'm supposed to end up at. Because being in this environment, even now, man, you can still see people that I grew up around, some of the adults, some of the kids that I went to school with, and they just never left. They've never expanded their horizons to see what else life may have to offer by leaving this city or leaving this state or leaving this country. But I always figured that there was something more. And because I was kind of a geeky, nerdish kind of kid who used to read encyclopedias, I always imagined, man. And it's like one of my superpowers is that of imagination. So this whole thing of visualization is something that has helped me immeasurably throughout my life. Being able to think of, you know what, there is a better way, there is something better. Is there something better? Like asking that question and then going out to see what can be done with that.
Man, vision. That's super powerful right there. Have you like do you have any type of like maybe daily thing that you do with your visualization, or is it just like a 1 year thing, or how do you make sure that you stay course? Because I totally agree with you. I definitely agree. That's why you are where you're at, because of the vision. A lot of people get caught up in the atmosphere that they're in, right? And it makes me think of even just myself, right? Like you have to get out of that, right? We could call it the comfort zone. At the end of the day, it's easy to stay in that box, right? But
Right.
the vision is what keeps you looking forward, that there is something better. So do you have any type of ritual or anything that you do with visualizing?
This is the way that I realize, or one of the things that I look at life and say, if my dreams, my visions, right, if they're the most sexy girl that I've ever wanted to be with, and she gives me her phone number or she tells me where she lives, and I never go knock on her door or I never pick up the phone to call her, then she's going to lose interest, right? And there's a possibility that I'll lose her or that opportunity. That's what my dreams and my visions are like, bro. So when I look at my dreams and visions on a daily basis, I have to pay attention to them on a daily basis and treat it as if they're that girl of my dreams, because truly they are. They are those things that give purpose to my life, like that definition of what it is that brought me to this world to be here today, those visions. And I feel that every person that has a vision, you know, I believe God put that in you for a purpose to see if you're going to actually execute towards that dream. So, as far as the daily practice, I do things like journaling. I have notebooks that I write stuff in. I do things like meditation. And I'm not consistent yet. I understand that some of the most successful people that I know have very consistent, rigid schedules. I'm not there yet, but I'm a work in progress as far as that goes. But to answer your question, man, the most important thing I can do for my visions is to pay attention to them, not let them die.
Mm, I love it. And what would you say now, where you're at now, what would be like the biggest fulfillment you've gotten out of all this awesome things? Like I'm sure you've met so many great people and all that, but what's like one thing that makes you fulfilled now that you are where you're at?
Brother, I had the greatest achievement of my life last year in October. The greatest achievement of my life is finally knowing what it feels like to love myself.
Mm,
That came through meditation with Dr. Joe Dispenza at one of his retreats. And it actually was in Orlando last year, September. It's the first time, October, sorry. October was the first time last year that I've ever experienced this feeling called self-love. As a man who had attempted suicide twice and has helped countless people through suicide because I was a suicide intervention instructor, as a man who helped many people through abusive situations or traumatic situations, because in all of those traumas that I endured as a kid. So first, let me back up to answer a part of your question before. There's something called adverse childhood experiences. There was a study that was conducted. and they added on some additional traumas. But bottom line is what they showed that if a person endures any of these traumas by the age of 18, it has an adverse impact on their life. Everything from reducing their lifespan down to developing diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, obesity, promiscuity, alcoholism, replicating abusive behavior. There's all type of different things that can happen. So there was a total on the first ACEs, the first study that they did, there were 10 adverse childhood experiences that they listed. Then they extended it, and there's a total right now of 23 recognized adverse childhood experiences. Of the 23, I endured 21 of them in multiples. So I've gone through a lot of trauma with this life and with this body. But with all of that being said, with that mindset that I have of looking at a vision, understanding that I can get out of that, understanding that I do have a purpose here, that I can help people, I can help change lives. And even though I had been suicidal myself and tried to end my life, I have value now. It never sank into me this thing of self-love. How do I love myself? I could give back and feed into others all the time. And that was a part of the way that I managed through my life was because I didn't hold value for my own life, I would just give of myself towards others for the betterment of others. Once I discovered self-love, first of all, it was the most overwhelming, all-consuming, beautiful feeling I've ever felt in my life. It was magical.
Mm.
But with that now, that feeling of self-love, that feeling of worth, that I was able to change the statement from am I worthy of love to a statement of empowerment to say I am worthy of love. Not just that, I am love. And when for me, brother, like I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I'm connected with God, the universe, the creator, the entity, whatever you want to call it, Mother Nature, Father Time, however you want to define what God means to you. I'm connected with that. And I understand now that power of that statement, I am. It's a statement that says, this greatness that exists that built all of this connects us all and flows throughout all of us. I am that, as are you, as are everybody else that I meet. You know what I mean?
Mm. And what's crazy, Derrick, is you know, one thing you mentioned was like last year was your best year yet, right? Like, the stuff that like the moment you had for yourself, very important. And there's actually studies, guys, that show that the older you get, the better and the more work you do on yourself. And this is not for people that don't try to strive, right? Like people like us, right? Like Derrick, that we want more in life. There's actually studies that show that the older you get, then every year will get better because you start meeting people like Derrick, right? Like I'm a better person since I met Derrick. The relationships that you build and everything, as long as you go with that vision, like Derrick said, as long as you have that vision to go ahead and chase it, really, right? That better person that you want to become, then every year is going to be better. So that's exciting news for those of you who are listening because literally, like, and especially right now, I don't know when I'm going to release this exactly, but we're towards the end of 2024 right now. And so New Year's is coming. So, it's time to start thinking that way, right? And that's the good news I have for you is that you can make this year coming up even better than what you just had, which is amazing. So I can't wait to see what you do, Derrick, with that information. And I would love to hear your feedback. Maybe it made you think of some experiences or any just opinions of what you have with those studies and that reality.
Bro, I wake up every morning and I thank God for another opportunity to get it right. And what does get it right mean for me? For me, getting it right means there are things that I've put in these books that I've written, these notebooks that I've written. And every day I get a chance to wake up and go at it again. Now, I may fail today, but I get a chance, an opportunity to try again.
Mm.
An example would be I started a fast, a water only fast on November 15th. And I said I was going to try to complete 7 days. That was my goal. I made it 5 days. So,
Wow.
you know, 5 days water only. I was like, okay, cool. I failed. But you know what? Thanksgiving was there. So I'm like, I'm giving myself a break for this Thanksgiving period. You know, you have the days of leftovers. So I'm like, on December 1st, I'm gonna hop back on that horse. I'm gonna get at it because so I'm an insulin resistant person. Type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. But and there are other things that go along with insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is not just a food thing. What I learned because of the ACEs study and studying this stuff all the time now, literally for man, since like 2010-ish, somewhere around there. But what I've learned is that you can literally give yourself diabetes just from stress. It doesn't have to be related to food. It can be the chronic stress, the toxic stress that's built up in your system. So learning those types of things and then pouring back into people and letting them know, hey, there is a way for you to cure, to reverse your type 2 diabetes. There is a way for you to fight cancer. There is a way for you to overcome that trauma of being raped as a kid. There is a way for you to overcome being called a nigger, being called a bitch, being called useless, people cursing you, saying that you're going to end up just like your daddy, or you're going to end up like your no good uncle, or all those type things, those traumas that people are putting on us. I've learned how to deal with those things. I'm blessed to have a mindset that it doesn't matter what I've been through, Billy. Literally, we could talk about any experience of my life, and I can go into depth with it without getting like becoming an emotional wreck. And that ability to process trauma and get down to the root cause of it with the understanding that I can give back and help someone else is a beautiful thing. You're talking about the end of the year. Here we are with a few more days left in this year, you know, and I'm looking at it and going, I still want to make this the best year of my life. You know what I mean, bro? It's like it, what do we have? 30 days? Not 30 days,
Mhm.
26 days left. 26 days left in this year. There's
Mhm.
still time to make this the best day or the best year of my life. So let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. How can I do that? What are the action steps that I can take? What are the people that I can connect with? What are the mindsets that I can be around so that I can shift my paradigm?
Mhm. That's so heavy. It's funny you mentioned that because in my mastermind, bro, we have a group text where we check in every morning and there's always fire coming in, wins, right? Like people are showing their wins for the day or and I had to and as a coach like I had to correct a few of them in the group like, you know, hey, I'm already doing this for next year and it's like no, like let's finish 2024 strong. Like, let's
Right?
not focus on 2025 yet. That's like you said, however many days is still left. I don't even know because I'm not counting. To me, it's like I know the vision, right? Like I know the vision that I have. So I know that these next 20 plus days that we have left, we could still like guys, you guys are one action, one relationship away from changing your entire life. And that could be in the next 20 days. So let's not
Absolutely.
get caught up in next year or you know another big thing with me it's like you cannot tell me okay I'm going to start this fast on Monday or I'm going to start this diet or I'm going to start doing this Monday like why not today and
Right.
it's a man-made calendar right so love it man love it I want to ask you because you have been around a lot of great people man and what is like the most successful uh quote or best piece of advice somebody has ever given you surrounding yourself with so many great minds? Yo, we'll be right back to this great episode of the $1,000,000 Hustle podcast. Before we continue, I want you to go grab a copy of my book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable. It is out on Amazon, it is out on Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com, Target.com, and everywhere else books are available. The great news, guys, is you could go to BillyTheKid.com and grab an autographed copy. That is right. I'm going to mail you an autographed copy right now. Audiobook is also available on Audible and everywhere else audiobooks are available. So go listen to it, go grab yourself an autographed copy, and I'll see you on the other side, baby. And now back to this great episode of the $1,000,000 Hustle podcast.
Oh man. Through all of the books that I've read, um, I started reading Billy in 2015. Prior to that, I didn't read much. Only the college books that I had to go through. I didn't read much. But now I try and read, um, I try to get in about 75 books a year. And with that, all of these books that I'm reading, man, from all these great people and the mentors that I have, like Tim Story and others, is I find that there's three. things. It's just three things common amongst all successful people. Three. Number one is they had a dream. They had a dream or they had a vision. Number two is that they took action behind it. And number three is that they didn't give up.
Mm.
Now, within those three um, categories, whatever, so people having a dream or vision, it's like, yes, you have to start with a dream. You have to start with where you want to go. And so many people walk around aimless, bro. They just don't know what they want in life. There are people that are 60 years old and you ask them, so what do you want to do? And it's just, I don't know yet. Well, don't you think it's time that you sat down and pay attention to that to figure out, hey, pick a path, like
Wow.
have a dream, have somewhere to go, because every one of us is racing towards the grave. It's just that some of us are doing it faster than others, some of us are doing it slower than others. And I believe that just from my experience, bro, as I live and breathe every day in my dream, I'm one of those weird people that I get to be blessed enough to live in my dream every day. My life is going by so fast, bro. Come on, man. We're in December of 2024. And I'm looking back and going, dang, I did this, connected with all of these people. So have a dream or a vision. Take action towards it. I call it informed action. So with that informed action, it means if I want to be a musician like Billy, I should surround myself with like-minded people. I should start reading those books. I should start listening. I should start like changing my mindset towards that
Mm.
and changing the environment so that I'm taking informed action towards it. It can be as simple as starting out with writing it down. Write it down and make it plain. Make it so that I literally try and make it so that my 9-year-old daughter and my 6-year-old son can understand what my dream is. Because if I can explain it to a first grader, or if I can explain it to a fourth grader, then surely I understand it and it can make sense. You know what I mean? Break it down into manageable steps, take informed action towards that dream, and then don't quit. Billy, bro, with all of my mentors, I have a dude, his name is Ken Miller. Ken Miller has been convicted of 86 crimes. Dude has been in and out of jail, in and out of prison. He's done 3 stints, 86 times, bro. But you know what? He was a crackhead for almost 20 years on the street. Did all kinds of stuff. But dude, he didn't quit. He dollars for nonprofit organizations. He has changed so many lives, bro. And if somebody can mess up 80, get convicted 86 times and still course correct their life, what excuse can I have for anything? So those are the lessons that I take away from successful people, bro. Have a dream or vision, take informed action towards that dream or vision, and don't quit. Don't care about the divorces, don't care about the families that get destroyed in the process because they don't support your dream or whatever may have you. Don't care about the the financial burdens that happen because they do. You may have to file bankruptcy. There may be friends that walk away from you, but you know what? Just don't quit. Don't quit.
Mm. And love that you brought him up. I'm gonna have him on here in the next few weeks too, man, because his story is amazing. So shout out to him. But the now I wanna. We've been going with so much fire, bro, that we haven't even covered like the your the purpose and the stuff that you have done with this company. So can you tell us how did this whole waffle thing started, man? Like, because you've told me and I know the story, man, and it's amazing. But I want you to tell the listeners because it's such a beautiful story, and I think it's the perfect example of what I always coach is don't do it for the money will come, do it because you love it. And then it feels like, because at the end, guys, like I'm going to tell you right now, like it's hard. It's hard to start anything. And you could call it harsh or whatever, but it is. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You really have to love it in order for that hard not to be as an everyday burden, right? Like you love it so much that you just do it. And here we are, right? So that's a perfect example of what you have done with this, Derrick. So if you could tell us a little bit about it.
All right, brother. I appreciate that. First, there are layers. So for the audience, please understand that there are layers to what it is that Waffles and Whatnot has become. Where to start with this? Well, man, where to start? Bro, I have lost so many people in my lifetime to diabetes. I've watched people become amputees. I've watched people lose their vision. I've watched Black people and poor people. Because I grew up around a lot of Cubans and Haitians, Dominicans here in Florida. And there's a disproportionate effect of food disparities in poor communities, right? So when you marry that to the amount of stress that we go through, um, the stresses that you went through coming from El Salvador and venturing over here to America and all that journey that it took, it adds up and it takes a toll on your body. So I want to preface this with that. Waffles and Whatnot was something that it wasn't even a concept, bro. I had a wife that was suffering through breast cancer. And on the third day of cancer treatment was always my wife's worst day because on that day, by then, she had already vomited everything out from the previous 2 days. And she would have no energy. She would just be lethargic and completely fatigued, tired, just exhausted, man. But yet her body still was trying to make her vomit. And so I would watch her go but she has an empty stomach. And bro, it was painful. It was painful. It was so painful that when my wife asked me to put a bullet in her head, I seriously considered it.
Mm.
I seriously considered taking my 40 cal and ending my wife's life. But I thought about who was going to take care of my daughter and would they take care of her at the level that I would take care of her. And at the time, it was just my one child that I had. And it made me think back to when I was a kid in 1991 when I was 11. And I watched my mom. I didn't understand what was happening at the time, bro. She just started crying. I mean, like this wailing, like she's at a funeral, worse than a funeral. And I saw her go out into the road and she just laid down in the road, bro. And she was out there praying. And I'm listening to her prayers and she's praying for a truck to come run her over. She just wanted to die. But it was because I later learned it was because that she found out that she was HIV positive. And because we grew up watching so many people die of HIV or AIDS, she knew what was coming and she didn't want to endure that. She just wanted to die. So, with that being said, fast forward many, many years later, my wife is going through chemotherapy and I'm watching her suffer the way that she's suffering. And I'm looking and saying, okay, I needed to change everything that we ate, the way that we cooked, the way that I prepped food, what foods we were eating, all of that stuff. And I realized that I had the ability to provide my wife some sustenance. Like if I could make her a pancake that was BRAT compliant. BRAT, for those that don't know, is bananas, rice, apples, and toast. When you're in recovery in a hospital from a surgery or something like that, that's what they typically recommend for you: bananas, rice, apples, and toast. So I said, what can I create that's BRAT compliant that my wife could actually hold down? And if she held down a couple bites of it, she'd get some type of energy. And I came up with this pancake recipe. So I created these pancakes and I started cooking these pancakes for her that she could eat these pancakes and get some energy from that. A couple years after my wife passed, I took those pancakes and I turned them into a waffle because you can hide a lot of things in a waffle, right? When you look at your bag of flour, you'll see that it says enriched, right? So I can enrich that waffle with a lot of things. So looking at that, my mom was battling cancer at the time, and she was also battling AIDS because the doctors had told my mom, and sorry, this is a long story, but the doctors had told my mom
No, go ahead, bro.
that
Sorry, I just want to point out, like, take your time because your story is just amazing, bro. So I just take your time. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate you, man. Um, so my mom was one of the longest living HIV patients in America. But at some point, she had so many pesticides in her system that the doctors told her that she could no longer take the medication that kept the HIV at bay. She was undetectable, like Magic Johnson. And once that happened, man, HIV came back with a vengeance. Eventually, she developed AIDS. And I came home to Florida one year And I remember, bro, I mean, it's not a pretty sight. Just preparing, it's a kind of a grotesque thing here, but there was a disease called pemphigus that my mom had developed. And what it looked like, imagine somebody taking a vial of fire ants and dumping it into your mouth and closing your mouth, and they're biting all over your mouth and your tongue and everything. And at the same time, they take these bloody cornflakes and gorilla glue them to your lips. That's what I remember from my mom. And she had to eat. She still had to eat with that. And so watching her cry, just trying to ingest foods, was a very traumatic thing for me. Once she was able to get over that, the doctors were recommending that that she switch her diet up completely and have fresh, raw, organic, like cold pressed juices, quinoa, kale to replace the grits and other things that she was eating. And we tried that, but it was tearing her stomach up. Anybody that's ever done a juice cleanse or a juice fast understands that if your body's not used to juicing, it can tear up your gut pretty bad. And because she already had a compromised immune system and a compromised digestive tract, it was just really ripping her apart. It was difficult to get her to sustain that lifestyle of eating with all of the organic stuff, the non-GMO stuff. But I noticed that my mom loved eating fried chicken and she loved eating things like waffles. So when we go to places like Waffle House or Golden Corral or Cracker Barrel, I would look at what she would eat. And so I said, okay, how can I make something that she will eat that she gets a health benefit from? And that created this challenge where looked at her tackle box of pills that she was taking and figured out what I could replace with spices or ingredients. And I put her daily dose of these things in the bowl, what her doctors were recommending for her. And bro, I just started messing around with it. And eventually I tried it as a waffle. It wasn't good at all. It was disgusting. But I kept playing with it and kept playing with it. And eventually I came up with this chicken breading that literally it's a coating that can be put on any meat that you fry. It can be put on vegetables. Like I love it on mushrooms and broccoli and stuff like that. But with that, my mom also needed a certain amount of protein. So I began hand cutting chicken strips to weigh them out so that she could get the amount of protein that she needed on a daily basis. So now you coat those chicken strips with the breading that I made, which is called the baby, the badass yardbird, or the M baby, the Mediterranean badass yardbird was one that I created for my mom. So that badass yardbird chicken coating on those three strips of chicken, and if my mom made those three strips of chicken and the apple cinnamon waffle that I made and the little sauce that goes on the side, then my mom was able to get rid of at least 6 of the pills that she had to take on a daily basis and some of the supplements that she had to take just by eating a meal of chicken and waffles. I looked at that and I decided to just run at it, man, because so many people I started on the sidewalk, bro. So I literally had a picnic table standing on the sidewalk in downtown Anchorage, Alaska. And
Mm.
there were days, bro, I literally stood out there for 24 hours because I wasn't sure when was the right time that people were going to come by and eat. And so people thought I was crazy because I stood out there for 24 hours. And I got tired of people walking past me and I would try to offer them a waffle. And they would say, no, I'm gluten free. No, I can't do eggs. No, I can't do soy. No, I can't do lactose. No, all these different things. And I'm just like, I got tired of people telling me no. So I was like, bet, I'm gonna go back to the lab, which was my kitchen, and I'm gonna figure out how to make a waffle that has nothing in it except health benefits. I just want to maximize this thing so that no person could say they're allergic to it. And I
Mm.
did that. And once I did that, I just kept modifying and modifying and said, now I want it to be the best tasting waffle anybody's ever tasted. So I went to every store in Alaska. I bought all the brands of waffle mixes, all of them, all of the frozen waffles. I brought them back home, cooked them all up. I tasted every single one of them. And God help my family. I tortured them, bro. I tortured them with these waffles because they had to try them. But then I just kept cooking and cooking and cooking and modifying until I could beat every single waffle mix that was on the shelf anywhere. And then it's like, how do you make it 10 times better than what exists right there? You have to make something, in my opinion, that is essentially reversing what the industrial food complex has been able to do. The industrial food complex has been able to swap out chicken for a chicken product. beef with beef product. You don't know what's in a McDonald's chicken nugget today. You don't know what's in the French fry, right? What's in that potato? What has been added to it to make you more addicted to it, that to make you crave it more? What's in a Coca-Cola? Why do you need to drink the whole thing once you start, right? You start and you put it down and you think you're going to stop, and then before you know it, you're picking it back up again and picking it back up again. Well, if they've taken the cocaine out of it, which they have, then why is it still so addictive? Studying that, learning that stuff, and then trying to make foods that can address those things and essentially reverse engineer what the industrial food complex has done. I want to take American style Southern cuisine, soul food, and turn it into just that, soul food. To be able to say, you know what, I can help you reverse your type 2 diabetes eating chicken and waffles, eating macaroni and cheese. Let me show you a proper way, a better way of doing it. And I'll shut up with this. There's this realization that there are there's a demographic of people that you can tell to eat fresh, raw, organic ingredients. You can tell them to eat the quinoas, the kales. You can tell them to go and meal prep for an amount of time, a week or so. They'll do that automatically because you're just giving them education to let them know how food interacts with the body, and they'll make the change. There's another demographic of people that will never do that. You say something is vegan, and they instantly think it tastes like cardboard. They want nothing to do with it. And then there's that group that's in the middle. That's the group that I'm addressing, is that group that's in the middle, providing them with additional options or alternatives to McDonald's or Waffle House or any of these other places. That's what I'm seeking to do, bro. So I'm trying to build, I'm not trying, I'm in the process of building the largest Black-owned franchise in American history so that I can bring these food establishments, Waffles and Whatnot, to local communities and be able to not just address things like food deserts, but be able to say, hey, listen, food can heal you. Fasting can heal you. Let me show you how that interaction is supposed to go between breaking the fast or breakfast and the food that you eat. What should you be eating when you begin eating? And realizing what it does for your body specifically, because it's unique to every single person. What you eat changes your body differently than if I ate the same exact meal. So let me show you how to monitor that and create a system to help you heal yourself. And from that, bro, we gain clarity. This has been something that's been around for eons. Check all of these religions and see, I think fasting is mentioned more than 70 times in the Bible. You know, long fast too, like 40-day fast. But then when you break the fast, because you're resetting your gut biome, the creatures that are in your gut, what are you putting back in there? What are you putting back in there to build yourself back up and to build your immune system up and to build your gut microbiome up?
Mm.
You got me just about geeking out, bro.
Man, bro. No, and I could literally just sit here and listen to you. Like so much wisdom, so much knowledge, bro. Because it is important for minorities, honestly. And I'm not taking away from all other groups for sure, because I think there's a lot of unhealthy habits in general, right? Like humans, but um I truly believe one of the many things, like you said, like because of poverty, we do eat the trash, right? Like the bad stuff, because it is cheaper, right? Like it is faster. And not knowing that, like, if you pay a little more for that salad or whatever instead of that uh, burger, then obviously you're gonna reap the benefits, right? So I love it, bro, and it's a struggle. I know I've gotten better, but like I have a long road to go, and I think being mindful has also helped. And I'm gonna definitely. I'm like, you're crazy, bro. You did a 7 day fast where you got the 5. I'm trying to do the 3. So we'll see when I do that 3, man, because I there's so many benefits to that. I mean, you literally, it's almost like you're born again. It's probably the craziest way to say it, right?
It is. Let me tell you something. First of all, bro, when you're ready to do that 3, I'll do it with you.
Okay,
So
appreciate it.
having an accountability partner is great. Having
Yes.
somebody that's willing to suffer along with you, that can stay at eye level and understand what you're going through. And specifically for you and I, because I've done it, because 3 day fast is nothing for me. I started the year with the 3 day fast, and I've done multiples throughout the year. 24 hours, 48 hours, 72-hour fast, and then that 5 day fast. And this one right here, I don't have an end date. This one, I have a goal. I have goals that I'm setting of where I want my body to be and what I want my body to be doing before I break the fast. So it's not even about how many days you need to go, but there's very scientific analysis, there's data that backs up what happens every 12-hour period within your body. And we can study that. When you're ready to go for that fast, you let me know, bro, and I can wean you or kind of walk you through it. You don't even have to begin with 3 days. There's an empowerment that comes out of that, man. When you set your mind to something, Billy, and you say, I'm going to do this no matter what, you've done that so many times in your life. When you say, I'm going to take care of my sister, you did that. When you say, I'm going to take care of my wife, you did that. When you say, I'm going to rise above where I came from, and you did that. When you say, I'm going to drop an album, and then you go and drop 11 or 12 of those mugs. When you say that I'm going to get into real estate, I'm going to build a construction company, there's a pride that comes on the other side of that to look back and say, even though you made mistakes during the whole thing, looking back to say, I did it. I freaking did it. Let me tell you, nearly every person is addicted to food. It's you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, what are you going to eat? Before you go to bed at night, you're usually thinking, what are you going to eat? What are you going to have for dinner? In the middle of the day, you will stop. The clock can chime or something like that. You can just look at a clock and realize it's time for you to eat. There's nothing else, truly nothing else, except maybe a drug addict that can look at and be stimulated as much as Pavlov's dog, where you can just be thinking about food and start salivating. There's a realization, though, bro. There's an empowerment that comes from the other side of that when you completed that fast and you realize that you made it. Because now, when you're not in a fasted state and you're just walking around day to day and you look at that thing that you know you shouldn't be eating, you know, okay, so you're in an environment where there's nothing else to eat. Let's say you're at a concert hall or something like this, and all they have are fast foods. They just have the burgers and the pizza and stuff like that. And you understand that right now you're working on insulin resistance, for instance. There's a power that comes from knowing that you've completed a 3 day fast to look and say, I'll be all right. I'm not going to die. Drink some water and I'll grab what I want to eat when I leave here. And I'm not talking about eating salads and quinoa and kale. I'm not talking about going on extremes like if you choose to do the keto diet, awesome. If you choose to be pescatarian, awesome. If you choose to be vegan or vegetarian, awesome. None of that is relevant to fasting because if you fast on a good schedule, your body will compensate for whatever things you've been putting into it anyway. Your body will heal itself. And then you as a man knows on the other side of it, you will know that I'm capable of this. I can trust in myself to do this thing. I can trust in myself. And I think, bro, part of your success in the world, part of all of our success and all of these successful mentors that you were talking about earlier, these people that I've studied from, is as a realization of I can trust in my word. It's one thing to be able to trust the word of another man or another woman. It's a whole different monster when you can set your mind to something to say, I'm going to do this, and you can actually stick with it and do it.
We'll be right back. Before we continue, go subscribe to Billy Dha Kidd YouTube. That is Billy, DhaKid. Also, go follow Billy Dha Kidd Music on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and everywhere else
music is available.
And now, back to this great episode. Let's go.
Hopping out the two, though, wearing number 2 foe. Feel like Kobe, though I'm winning, need to do more. My mama sorry, college wasn't for me. Street smart, no degree, just like Kobe. Self-made boss with a suit like a mogul. I'm the new era, you see it on my logo.
Wow. Whew. All right, just like that, we're done. Jesus, love it, bro. I'm just playing. Wow. So many things. And I don't want to move on. Well, real quick. So even like the fasting too. I mean, they've gone as far as even saying that you're almost less likely to get cancer, right? Like after 3-day fast. Like
Yes.
it's crazy. And obviously all the other diseases that come along with it. But let's move on, bro, because I want to get some more like inspiration out of your story. I mean, I can't wait to like rewind it and listen to it again. Like you've told me the story, but it's just crazy to hear it again, man. Like all the stuff you've gone through, bro, and just to see how much you've done and where you're at, bro, and what you're doing, and it like if you don't get inspired by this, guys, like you're on some other stuff because this man like is the perfect example of what we, and when I say we as minority, can do. Because like literally, bro, you went through every single thing that you hear out there, right? That people talk about as minorities, right? And you as a black man, like I'm sure, but it's so nice that you've literally broke all these chains, bro, and it's just amazing. I just wanted to give you your flowers on that.
Thank you.
What was it? You mentioned a story, and I'll let you tell it about social media and all that that kind of came along with the waffle mix thereafter.
So the amazing thing is before short-term video or short, yeah, like the YouTube shorts and reels and
Like
stuff like that.
reels, yeah.
Before that was a thing. When I was on that sidewalk, what I would do is I couldn't sell a waffle to save my life. People wouldn't buy it, right? And so I would just say, hey, listen, I'll give you the waffle for free. Just let me record your reaction. That's all I'm asking. You take 2 bites of it. I wouldn't give them a fork. They had to pick it up and bite it. So you could take 2 bites of it. Just let me record your reaction. And so that's what I would do. I would record it and then I would post it on Facebook. Record it and post it on Facebook. This is before Facebook Live. So I would have all these less than a minute clips on Facebook. And one day I got an email where somebody was saying that it was Facebook reaching out. I wrote back like, stop spamming me. Um, they said no, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, prove it. Prove that you're Facebook. Like you should know everything about me. And they did, man. They called me and I had a conversation with them and they flew me down to Palo Alto. And I've been to Facebook 5 times now. Got inducted in something called the Facebook Small and Medium Business Council, the Facebook Hall of Fame. And it was a beautiful thing because what they showed me at the time was that my customer acquisition costs were less than a penny. That was on par with the Russian influence campaign that initially got Trump elected. And they were just like, how in the hell did you do that? I became the #1 trending waffle topic in the United States, even though I just had this little setup on the sidewalk and then eventually got a food truck. And yet I was the #1 trending waffle topic in the United States. And that was this beautiful thing. And I was taught how to use Instagram from the people that code Instagram. And at the time, just so you understand, my mindset, bro, didn't process it. I was so busy caught up in the like starstruck kind of, oh my God, I'm at Facebook kind of thing. Oh my God, I'm standing next to Mark Zuckerberg. I'm shaking hands with Sheryl Sandberg type deal that I didn't know how to take advantage of the opportunity that was actually in front of me at the time. But it's all good. It's all good, man. So
And it's
that's
probably
my
like
social media story.
a fast thing too, huh? Like where you're like, whoa, 1 minute you're in at the headquarters, and
Right?
all of a sudden it's man, that's awesome. So with that being said, bro, what would you say? Some tips that you could give people out there about social media, their business, whether they might just have a local company or something that they're trying to franchise or whatever. What are some tips you could give us on social media?
Okay. So very first thing, love him or hate him, I will tell you that the #1 marketer on planet Earth is Donald Trump. If you want to learn about marketing, study what Donald Trump has done. You have someone who is a 34-time convicted felon who just won the presidency, like hands down, won the presidency. Look at what he's done and how he's influenced social media, or been influenced by social media throughout this entire process. If you want to learn about social media, be your authentic self. You want to learn some tips from there, be your authentic self, be you. That's it. Be you. You've heard this, the term that every pot has a lid. If you're authentically you, your audience will find you. And when your audience finds you, they will be loyal to you. How many times have you been around people and you realize that they're fake, that they're pretentious, and then you get repulsed by them, you get let down by them because here's your hero, and then you realize that this person is just fake and you don't want to be around them anymore. But then there's somebody else that's in your circle, and you like, that's my boy because he's real and he keeps it real all the time. You don't always like what he has to say. Sometimes he can annoy the hell out of you. Y'all might even come to fists sometimes. But that's your boy because he's keeping it real with you. So be your authentic you. Be consistent with what you do. So people get used to being fed at a certain time. I've already told you, you develop habits. So what you want to do is develop habits. And if people are used to consuming your media, then make sure that you're producing that content for them on a consistent basis because you don't know what they're using the media for. They may be listening to some words that I give. I speak every Thursday morning with a friend of mine named Brock Zidan. Every Thursday morning, I get on there for 30 minutes and I inspire. People are on there every single day to get that inspiration in the morning. And there may be someone in there that's struggling with substance abuse. There may be someone that's struggling with an addiction to food. There may be someone that's struggling with pornography or struggling with beating their kids or picking up the bottle again. There may be someone in there that's literally considering suicide. And it's just your morning thing that allows them to keep going. It's the song from Billy the Kid where he's talking about the experiences that he's had that allows another little El Salvadorian kid or a Mexican kid or a Filipino kid to say, I can get out of this too. So be consistent with what it is that you do. And man, honestly, bro, I think those are the two best things that you can do is to be yourself and be consistent. If I can summarize that, be consistently you, authentic you, show up.
Love it. Woo. Man, I'm telling you, bro, every single time you speak, I'm like, all right, mic drop, let's go. We're done. But, you know, and I want to make it clear to everybody because, you know, I'm big on like, obviously we are repping and proud and all pride, all the good stuff that come from what we are, people of color and all that. But I want to make it clear that we're not adding to the problem. And what I mean by adding to the problem, it's like what I teach my girls. It's like, be proud of your culture, right? Where we come from, but don't ever, ever let that stop you from chasing your dreams and let that be the excuse of why you can't do something. Because at the end of the day, man, like I'm surrounded by so many great people that I truly don't see color. And I just want to make that clear, but we're also not going to hide who we are, where we come from and our struggles and what these communities that we made it from actually go through. And I think it's also important. I salute you, bro, because like I said, you are truly somebody that just like you said, right? Like the little Salvadorian kid, the Mexican kid, like same with you, man. Like you're an inspiration to so many kids that are going through all the crazy shit that you've gone through, bro. So I just want to, again, just keep giving you flowers, man, and keep doing your thing. Don't ever like feel like you're alone, bro. Like anytime you need to talk, call me or anything. Like I want to be that cheerleader for you too, bro, because I truly believe in the vision that you have and the stuff that you're doing. With that being said, I hate to do it, but we have to wrap it up so you can go out there and keep inspiring people, bro. At the end, I ask the same questions to every guest, and the first one is, if you were to write a book, what would be the theme and title of it?
So the book that I'm finishing right now is called Pocket Aces. Pocket Aces deals with the 23 traumas that I was mentioning earlier, of which I've been doing 21 of them, and how to, or methods for overcoming each one or dealing with each one. Every single one of us has things that we've gone through in our life, and I want to help people be able to process through them so that that toxic stress doesn't build up in their system and leads to an earlier death.
Man, can't wait, bro. Let me know when it drops. The second question that I have for you, if you were to look back at your younger self right now and talk to that little boy or teenager, wherever you want to take it, just that youngster, what would be the piece of advice you would give yourself right now? Or what would you tell yourself?
This is gonna sound like I'm blowing smoke up your ass, but I'm not. It's not intentional. I would tell my younger self to be grateful for being uncomfortable.
Mm,
All of those uncomfortable moments of my life growing up helped me to become the man that I am today. I would not be who I am today if I hadn't endured every single second of my life, every good thing, every bad thing, all of the mistakes, all of the lessons learned, all of it. So be grateful for the seconds of your life. Somebody else is begging for an opportunity to have a couple more seconds that you potentially taken for granted.
mm.
So be uncomfortable and embrace being uncomfortable if you want to actually succeed.
Wow. And I just want to also to tag along with that. So true, bro. Even as you get to these levels, we'll call them, there's still uncomfortable things. It does get easier, guys. I will say it does get easier, but there's still a lot of hard decisions. It's just a different set of problems. Maybe at the beginning it was not paying the light bill, but now it's, man, should I make this investment? Where is it going to go? Right? Like, is this business going to pop? It's still a problem, but it's good money problems, right? And
Yep.
I just want to make it clear that, like, enjoy that. Matter of fact, like, there's days where, because the uncomfortable is what makes Derrick now, what makes me now. That's what makes us who we are today, and also who we are going to become. Because, like I said, there's days where I'm like, man, like, what's like a solution? What's something I can do? And guys, it could be as simple as going and eating somewhere you never ate before, like ordering something
Yep.
you've never ordered before. But you have to keep practicing. And one thing I want to mention, like, imagine if you truly did that, guys. Like, if you truly went out there and, like, something worked, right? Like Derrick just said, the uncomfortable worked for him. It worked for me. But what if we truly put ourselves in those situations, in those positions? Like, imagine, like, we're already growing from just like being where we come from, right? Like, we had no choice, but what now we have a choice. How can we start a podcast? That's uncomfortable, right? How can we start a product, a business? Like, there's so many things, and I just want to push you and challenge you to do that. Sorry, bro, you got me fired up on that, man. So true.
No worries. That's what we're supposed to be doing, man. You're supposed to be leaving that audience energized.
Let's go. And then so the $1 Million Hustle, bro, is a book that I'll put together. And it's basically habits, right? Like, how do you become a millionaire, right? And what I mean by that is yourself, not the money, because the money will come. I promise you guys that. What are 3 habits, 3 steps that you would say, hey, if you do these 3 things, you're going to become successful. You're going to get on your $1 Million Hustle. What are those 3 things?
I mentioned them earlier, and I cannot emphasize this enough. People, if you didn't write it down before, write it down now. Have a dream. Have a dream. Whatever that dream is, write it down, make it plain. Have a dream. Take action towards that dream or the vision. Sorry. The dream is the overall picture. That's the overall thing. Like, wow, I dream of going to space, right? I dream of going to space. Have a vision. I want to colonize Mars. So have a vision for what it is that you want to do. Then set goals. By 2025, I want to do this. By 2023, I want to do this. By 2027, we want to do this. Set those goals. Once you set those goals, make plans for achieving each one of those goals. This all goes in that same thing of taking action, that middle, taking action. So you set plans in motion for that, understanding that all plans go to hell when the bullets start flying. So once you begin executing whatever it is that you're executing, be ready to pivot and iterate. Be ready to change. That's how you adapt and overcome. But take that informed action. And then the third step would be don't quit. No matter what, don't freaking quit. Just be that person. I have a shirt that I wear, Billy. It says, be the idiot long enough to become the genius.
Mm.
Elon Musk was the idiot long enough to become the genius. All right. Every successful person that you look at, I promise you, has someone in their life. Jeff Bezos, like, you really want to sell books online? Who the hell is going to buy books online? You have Borders and you have Barnes and Nobles. Why would anybody go buy a book? Oh, people really going to have computers that they can watch movies on? No, they're going to go to the video store. They're going to go to Blockbuster. Oh, yeah? Where's Blockbuster at now? So don't give up on your dream, people. Keep going. That's it, brother. Have a dream, take action, don't quit.
Man, love it, love it. Thank you so much, bro. This has been so freaking amazing. You know, and it's funny, bro. Like, this is the perfect way to start. I don't want to call it season or nothing, but you're my first podcast guest for the $1 Million Hustle in my new studio. Just built our dream house, and this was like the last. Well, I was gonna say the last part of the house, but no, we're working on a movie theater next. I got the projector up, all this crazy stuff. Also, and it just, the reason why I'm bringing all this stuff up, guys, is when I asked Derrick at the beginning, how are you doing, bro? And he said blessed, and I just want to end it in that note, man. We are truly blessed. You know, and it's not even this material stuff, man. You know, it's freaking nice. Trust me. Like, like, make sure you strive for that. But today is also my baby's first year, and looking back, bro, it's such a blessing because, man, like, God has truly blessed us. Like, you know, she's been healthy, like just a little champ, and we're having her party Saturday, man. And anyways, I just wanted to end it with this note, man, because it reminds me, like, I haven't done as good as I thought I have, but I've always told myself, when people ask you how are you doing, always answer with blessed. And you just reminded me of that, bro, because your whole story, man. So any final words, bro, or anything you want to add on or anything?
Happy birthday to baby girl, and congratulations, bro.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. And where can people find you real quick, bro?
Okay, so you can go to DerrickGreens.com, DerrickGreens.com, DerrickGreens.com. You can also find me on YouTube under that same name. You can find me on Instagram either at Waffles and Whatnot or at the official Derrick L. Green.
Love it, bro. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and make sure you follow him. Amazing things, and order everything that he's offering, because it's truly life-changing. Like, that's what I'm going to call your product, bro, and everything that you do is truly life-changing. So thank you for being you. Those of you who are listening, subscribe, follow him, follow me, tag us when you're listening to this, and we're going to reshare it so that way we could all get some love out there, man. Let's get some positivity, and I'll see you on the next one, baby. Vamonos.
Close-minded people mad at me that I'm speaking facts. Or maybe could it be that I'm getting racks? Open your mind, gotta open it to receive. I'm always 10 toes for what I believe. Close-minded people mad at me that I'm speaking facts. Or maybe could it be that I'm getting racks? Open your mind, gotta open it to receive. I'm always 10 toes for what I believe.